again, the whole sentence can be further divided into object of a verb. All right. So let's see that. What is object of a verb? See, अगर मैं ऐसा एक sentence लिखती हूँ, now I'm talking about the whole sentence, okay? For example, hold on, downstairs. Okay, so more about sentences again. So if you say, I threw the ball, right? Now in this sentence, I is your subject, threw the ball is your predicate, okay? Okay, so let me just underline that. I subject, hold on. I is your subject and threw the ball. Threw the ball is your predicate. All right. So in this, if you ask question to verb, this is your verb. Okay. This is your verb. Now, if you ask question to the verb itself, through what? Then you will get the answer, the ball. You will get the answer, the ball. Right? So when you ask question to the verb and whatever you directly get answer, that is your object. Right? So this becomes your object. So this the ball word, this is your object, right? So I becomes your subject, right? I is your subject. This is your subject. Just a minute. Okay. Let's just change this arrow. So this I become your subject. All right. So this is how it is. I is your subject. Threw the ball. This completely your predicate. In that predicate, threw is your verb, and when you ask question to the verb, threw what? And you get the answer, the ball. So the ball is your object. Okay. So this is how you can say that in predicate also there are different parts. Now, see, the thing is that it's not always that you will have only one object. See, listen, guys, it's very important to find out object, because in active passive, when we will learn active passive, when we will study active passive, in that it is very important to find out object, because that's the main part. Subject and object is the main part of active passive, right? So just understand this very well, right? So it's about object of a sentence. So let me change object of a sentence. All right. Now, sometimes what happens that there are more than two object, okay, in a sentence. For example, if I write, okay, if I write Payal gave Rupa a book, okay. Now, if you notice here, Payal, who gave Payal? So that's your subject. Gave Rupa a book. So this is your predicate, right? the basic segregation of a sentence is subject and predicate. That we have done. पायल जो है वो हमारा सब्जेक्ट पार्ट है सेंटेंस का और बाकी का सारा हमारा प्रेडिकेट पार्ट है. फर्दर हम उसको सेग्रीगेट करेंगे. पायल जो है वो सब्जेक्ट है, ठीक है. गेव जो है वो वर्ब है, राइट. अभी जो बाकी का है उसमें से हमें ऑब्जेक्ट फाइंड आउट करना है, ठीक है. सो पायल जो है वो सब्जेक्ट है, गेव आपका बन गया वर्ब बिकॉज वो प्रेडिकेट है, प्रेडिकेट में वर्ब है. नाउ वी विल आस्क क्वेश्चन टू वर्ब. पायल गेव व्हाट. व्हेन यू आस्क क्वेश्चन टू वर्ब द आंसर यू गेट इज अ बुक. आंसर आपको क्या मिला? अ बुक. तो अ बुक आपका हो गया ऑब्जेक्ट. ये जो अ बुक आपका है वो आपका हो गया ऑब्जेक्ट. अ बुक. This becomes your object. Okay. Now, what about this Rupa? See, this is not only object. This is your direct object. ये आपका क्या बन गया? Direct object. Because हम जब question पूछते हैं verb को तो directly हमें ये आंसर मिलता है give what? A book. इसलिए ये direct object बन गया. So now what about this Rupa? रूपा ने बेचारी ने क्या किया? वो भी तो कुछ है. So this Rupa becomes your only object. Okay. So this Rupa becomes your object. Right. So this will be your object. Or you can say indirect object. Indirect object. Right. So again main sentence क्या है हमारा? पायल gave रूपा a book. Subject क्या है? पायल. Gave रूपा a book. ये पूरा क्या बन गया आपका? Predicate. Predicate में further parts. Gave आपका verb बन गया. Gave what? A book. तो ये आपका direct object बन गया. तो बचा क्या? Gave whom? रूपा. तो रूपा आपका indirect object बन गया. एक दूसरी हिंट मैं आपको देती हूं. Without direct object, the sentence would not make sense. The sentence would not make sense. आप अगर ऐसा बोलो, पायल gave रूपा, is it making sense? You just write like this. पायल gave रूपा. Is it making sense? पायल gave रूपा what? Not making sense. Means you cannot ignore this word a book. This is very much important, okay? But you can still ignore this word Rupa. If you just write like this, Payal gave a book. It's still making sense. However, not complete, but still, it's making sense. It's not completely insensible sentence, okay? So, hint क्या है? Direct object के बिना sentence sense नहीं कर सकता. Indirect object के बिना sentence sense कर सकता है, right? Okay, so this is how direct object is necessary. Now let's see one more example. Okay. Tara promised her friends a treat. Tara promised her friends a treat. So again, Tara, subject, rest of the sentence, predicate. Now let's start talking about what it is. So Tara is your subject. Then here it is verb. So first of all, we'll just write down this. Tara आपका क्या बन गया? Subject. Promised is your verb part in predicate part of a sentence. Okay, अभी हम क्या करेंगे? Question पूछेंगे promised को. Tara promised what? Tara promised a treat. So, Tara promised a treat. तो ये जो पूरा है a treat, that becomes your direct object. ये आपका बन गया direct object. Okay, so this is your direct object. Now Tara promised a treat. Yes, it's making sense. But to whom? Her friends. तो her friends जो है ये आपका बन गया, her friends जो है ये आपका बन गया indirect object. Okay, this is your indirect object. Indirect object. Okay, so let's just mention it here. Right? So इस तरह से आपके predicate में भी multiple parts हैं. Right? तो this is how it is. Again, if you write Tara promised her friends, just write that much. Tara promised her friends. But what? Not sure. Means the sentence is not making sense. तो her friends आपका direct object तो बन ही नहीं सकता. Tara promised a treat. Yes, it's making sense. तो a treat आपका direct object बन गया. Right? तो इस तरह से होता है sentences के further analysis. Okay? Now, in next video, we will talk about more for the like complement and other parts of a sentence. All right. Till then, I would suggest that you watch all the videos of the sentences, right, so that you get clear idea about this topic. Right. So we'll meet in the next video. Goodbye.